Because it needs to be heard, right?
Yes. It needs to be.
It needs to be heard.
Everything.
That's such a good name.
Thank you. It was in the conversation we had last year.
But that's strong. Like,
Yeah,
y'all gotta go
thanks.
hard.
Oh,
It
thanks,
needs to
man.
be heard. It needs to be heard. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like, that's what I hear when I hear that.
Yeah, we do. I need to talk to an attorney about that too. I need to.
Oh, like patent?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
When you reset it, it already goes up.
It needs to be heard.
Yes, sir.
Like, that's like cover a lot. That's a great
Yes.
name.
I mean, I don't know.
Thank you,
I thought this was
That's a
good.
really good name, sir.
Keep pushing it. Keep pushing it. Don't
Yeah,
stop.
oh, yeah, we got it. No, we got it. We got
Yeah,
it.
it is together, man.
No, yeah, you're right.
Because it's another organization. It's two organizations I want to introduce you
Okay.
to. Other than Dr. Baruch, I got my entrepreneur certification
season.
class from. It's called Operation Hope. His name is John Hope Bryant. He served on the cabinet with President Clinton, but it helps. One of his programs helps individuals who want to create a business plan, or already have a pre-existing business, and to help them get them put in front of investors and help them get their business models put together. And it's a great, I guess, networking tool as well. And then the Peacock House, which we will shortly talk about today at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
About to go, about to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
You are now watching It Needs to Be Heard. My name is Amika Terrell.
And my name is Mr. Robert Eugene Young.
Now that you heard it.
What will you do?
So we have a wonderful show today, and we're going to go into that a little later, but we have a few announcements before we begin.
It's 5 o'clock.
So, announcement number one is pretty much for those who support It Needs to Be Heard. We appreciate any support from your monetary gifts of affection. We can do so by going to our GoFundMe page, which is gofundme.com/It Needs to Be Heard, or through our PayPal is itneedstobeheard@gmail.com, or even our Cash App, which is the $ in front, It Needs to Be Heard. Robert and I are already seeing our first season. We're on to season 2. We're preparing for season 3, and we're just so excited about what this program is going to do. And so we are just accepting all kindness of monetary support towards us. The next announcement we have is the Peacock House Network. It's a commercial and meets needs space for entrepreneurs and to operate for their safe products from day one or to a short-term and long-term basis. For more information, please contact Dr. Chichi at 240-413-9481. That's 240-413-9481. They provide business coaching, entrepreneur sessions, and pitch meetings for adults and children.
Yes.
This is also where Mr. Young, or it needs to be heard, holds his Monday Zumba class. So if you've never had a good Zumba class, please join this gentleman. He will make sure you get what you need through Zumba. And the classes are at 7:30 p.m. and they're located at 5608 St. Barnabas Road in Oxon Hill, Maryland. And the zip code is 20745.
Awesome. Two other announcements. Oh, thank you so much, Ms. Anika Terrell.
Anytime.
Awesome. Also, I'd like to, my secretary, her daughter, she has a business called Revive Total Image Studios, which is in Indian Head, off Indian Head Highway. What she's doing, she is trying to raise money to buy a sauna to enhance the services that she provides. Her name is Kimberly, and her phone number is 301-458-6942. That's 301-458-6942. In her business, her location is located at 6942 Indian Head Highway, Bryans Road, Maryland. 60616. That's 6942 Indian Head Highway, Bryans Road, Maryland at 20616. And finally, our last announcement for today. Actually, we would like to do some quick reflections on Pastor Stephenson that was here last week, but also Miss Mickey Sanchez. She is part of Baroku Bling, and she has a website called paparazziaccessories.com/Baroku Bling. That's spelled BORICUA Bling, BLING. And you can check out her website. She does VIP groups, she does one-on-ones, house parties, private shows, and also coming soon live shows. So please continue to support those entrepreneurs and those businesses that are out there trying to do, or not just trying, but doing the things that they have set their minds to do. And once again, we want to encourage not just adults, but children as well, because many things that we use today were not just invented by adults, but also invented by children. So we want to continue to inspire them as well. As said just a moment ago, Pastor Devin W. Stephenson was our guest last week, and he is the pastor of the Servants of Christ. Their email address is weservantsofchrist@gmail.com. And what I like a lot about, other than him also being a pastor, he's an author and a motivational speaker, but this is what I liked about one of the things that he said in his bio. And he said, just in case you have not heard this, he wants you to know that you are loved, you are necessary, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you will be the reason why this world changes for the better. Which takes us to the title of this show, which is entitled Community Involvement, Be the Change You Want to See.
Definitely, and with Pastor Stephenson, just a little bit before we start, it's just that he very opened up your understanding of knowing that you have a power to change and getting back to where you started from, and just to know yourself, and I enjoyed that portion of it so much.
And how he traces his lineage back to
That's
Africa
right,
and everything,
that's
which is really nice as well. So, I mean, he really, can you remember how to pronounce his name? His other name?
Kohola, Ashe, and Zuri, and Kofi Ori.
Yeah, something like that. But he is really awesome. We actually, a very quick short story, actually, it's been about 10 years since I last saw him. He and I were musicians together at a church off of New York Avenue in Washington, D.C. So it's amazing how things go full circle, right? Yes. And we will get right on that in a minute. And as always, we thank Dr. Baruch and eLife Media Studios for the opportunity to have a show here. If you're interested in your own show here, they are holding some promotions at the current time. You can call here at 301-324-6900. That's 301-324-6900. Or you can contact Chris Mary at 301-549-8216. That's 301-549-8216.
Or even if you just want to come and have great food at
Everlasting
Life Vegan Restaurant, please come on out and you will definitely enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
So today's guests, not just one but two.
Yes.
We have Mr. Albert Soto. Mr. Albert Soto is a third-generation Washingtonian, and he's the founder of this and CEO of Your DC, an event planning business development firm. Mr. Soto is a graduate of the Booker T. Washington Charter High School, and he's also a financial broker with PFS Incorporated. He got a special talent and desire to improve businesses and communities throughout DC. He has worked with several churches in DC as a community liaison, helping them expand their ministries with their shared communities by creating events and partnerships with local businesses. Mr. Soto sat on the board of directors for Columbia Heights Day, including Columbia Heights tree lining with district bridges. Mr. Soto has worked hands-on with several community members in DC to figure out solutions to better our communities and have created neighborhood cleanups and running groups to network with local Washingtonians and also bring awareness to health and fitness. He loves to help people he has loved to help people, has led him to co-create a men's group called Only Kings, held in Columbia Heights, where discussions about spirituality, health, education, and financial literacy and self-development were acknowledged to improve and shift the minds of young minority men. Mr. Soto is not only inspiring an entrepreneur, but also a candid player in the philanthropic and political areas in Washington, D.C. We welcome Mr. Soto.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. All right, I have the distinct pleasure to read the bio of Ms. Courtney Simone. It's amazing as we read them, you get excited while you're reading them, so we're really excited for the accomplishment. Now I'm about to share something right now.
All right now.
All right, Ms. Courtney Simone, co-founder of Your DC. To fill the need she identified in the city she calls home, though she's from Chicago. That's right. Many mission-driven small businesses and nonprofits, all bringing something unique and essential to the city. We're struggling to succeed due to the lack of funding for marketing. As a result, your DC collaborates with these organizations and businesses to engage their vibrant communities through large-scale events, bringing her extensive experience in event planning, information technology, and consulting. Courtney works with her clients to not only create personalized events, but also develop and implement business strategies that cultivate long-term growth and sustainability. She strives to give their companies the tools they need to thrive even after the projects conclude. That's awesome. Courtney's passion for event management and business development comes from her innate desire to help others succeed. With every new client, she takes a hands-on approach, seeking a deep understanding for unique needs to determine the best course of action for them. She is committed to building true partnerships with her clients who become part of a larger community of a like-minded organizations all working to better the DMV. And lastly, Courtney hails from the windy city of Chicago, Illinois, and she's proud and a proud alumni of Howard University, Hampton. So where she earned her bachelor's degree in international business with a concentration in computer information systems. We need to hook up with them, with Miss Landy. Yeah, absolutely. Wearing multiple hats. She is also the CEO and founder of Adventure in Black, a full-service travel agency dedicated to uplifting people of color through customized group travel experience. We do need to travel. We talk about that a lot.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for being our guest today,
Thank
Mr.
you
Soto and
so
Ms.
much.
Simone.
Thank you so much for having us.
So let's just jump right into it, okay?
Mhm.
So what does one need to get involved in the intricacies of planning a large scale event?
Okay.
Take this one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I think one of the, well, first I'll say this, I think every event is different.
Mhm.
So for us, we really try to create something unique with each and everything that we do. So one of the things is being from, what's the location like, who's the community that we're trying to engage, and who can we help to make this event what it needs to be. So when you think about all of those aspects, it can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming, but we also kind of look at that as like the fun part or the challenge of things. So when you're incorporating the who, the what, the when, and the where, you look at kind of all of these logistics and you figure out how you can make it something unique for everyone of all ages. Do you have anyone to add to that?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, she pretty much hit it in the head. We did a lot of groundwork prior to like us building the business, and even during the duration of the time where we were creating certain events, we had to do a lot of networking with different entities within the actual DC area. Just from businesses to the government, mayor's office, parks, recreations. Like we have a long list of just everything is just pretty much documented for us to be able to, go to, in reference to whatever it is that we want to work for.
Absolutely.
I mean, work at, So with that, it was a lot of running around. Matter of fact, in September we did a ANC tour, which ANC is like a neighborhood commission board. So
Yes.
but that was all just to basically introduce ourselves to DC.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it got us where we are right now, and that's how. Yeah.
So how did it all come about? Like, how did you guys connect on doing this thing? How did it all come about?
Like creating a business.
Creating the business, meeting, getting this idea, because Robert and I, we connected on a different understanding, and that's how It Needs to Be Heard came about, through grief and friendship and mutual friends. So just give us a little understanding of that, please.
Okay. No, I answered the question. It's cool. So Courtney and I we're actually engaged. We're together. Yeah. So
That's awesome.
yeah, when you're with somebody, we share identities,
Yes.
So
This is true.
yeah, it's very true. So fast forward, we have a history of like event planning, things of that nature. Like from the bio that you read, I used to be a community liaison. So I already had that. She's done some things as well in her own fields that she's participated in. But to get straight to the answer, we just wanted to work. We actually wanted to just create like an event, and we were working on this really big event at Malcolm X Park, which is like Ward 1. It's like Meridian Hill. That's like the actual governmental. That's like the actual government name for it. But like DC calls it Malcolm X Park, right? And fast forward. What happened? Yeah, so we did that. We were working on logistics for it, and then we're like, you know what we're doing, we might as well just come up with a business for it. And so she actually wanted to name the event Your DC, and then we were just like, let's name it the business Your DC. You know, just want to be able to represent DC as a whole.
Awesome.
So, because So.
No, I was just gonna say, it's one of those things where we're just like kind of like brainstorming and writing things down.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, let's, this is happening. And then ever since then, it's just been like this one word, like snowball effect almost.
Yeah, literally. So that's pretty much how we came up with the business.
Awesome, thanks for sharing that.
No problem.
If I can interject, that's actually how I met the two of them at an event that was basically geared towards bringing other business owners and entrepreneurs and like-minded individuals together. And it was a wonderful event. The atmosphere was great. The people were great. I still have my pendant that I was given. I'm gonna pass it down.
DM us. We'll ship with you.
Yes, awesome.
Appreciate
And I feel important. Yeah. But that's how we basically met, and the energy was awesome from there. Actually, I was a guest of Navetica, the company. We just launched the app. We just launched the app this week, and I'm really excited about that. Helping many of the people. We're absolutely helping. If we look at the making money part, but really the background of Navetica really is because our owner, his dog was having issues, so he went a more holistic route, and he extended his dog's life for another 2 years when he was told to put his dog down. So basically, that's what Navetica came from. Just happenstance, you can make money. But from both of them, from the whole environment was really nice, and that's what we want to continue to share with everybody today, because that really needs to be heard, and to get it out that you have individuals here in DC making a difference.
Absolutely. We're not gonna stop either.
Absolutely.
So what has been the greatest part of the journey in your DC, the development and so forth?
You want me to go first?
Yeah,
Okay. I think for me, it's been kind of like a personal journey. Even with us, I would say. I think you learn a lot about yourself just when you're kind of working hard to accomplish something. It's one of those things where you learn the good, the bad, and everything in between. And I feel like in order for your DC to thrive, you kind of have to pluck out all the crafty pieces and just kind of start pruning to make, something beautiful. So that's kind of been my, I guess, favorite part of the journey. It hasn't been easy at all, but I'm happy about the woman that I am becoming because of this journey. So that's been the most influential part for me.
I guess that's great. Yeah. She's definitely got finer now, but anyway, you always been fine. Yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. But look, so fast forward, what I was gonna say, to answer the question, it's definitely the business is really a purpose for us,
Yes.
We didn't build a business like, oh, we just want to make some money, this was definitely something that was like birthed, like we really birthed it out, and us being in our relationship that we have, there's no gender when it comes to certain things, but it was definitely something that was given to us. You know what I'm saying? And we were able to figure that out, as we were able to work, and, her prior, experiences and my prior experiences, it just makes sense that God would give us something that we have. Yeah. So it's not like we were just like, oh, let's make some money, It was definitely something that was given to us, you know what I'm saying? So, but to answer your question, to go a little further and deeper, I'm sorry, what was the question again? I do this.
The greatest part of the journey.
Oh, the greatest part of the journey is just meeting people.
Yes.
Meeting people.
Okay.
Yeah, we love to meet people, and just working, because the thing about our business is it's a startup company, you know, so we have to constantly go, you know, like we're creating something so that people can enjoy what we're creating.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So that takes us to get out of our comfort zones, it takes us to be disciplined, it takes us to work out, it takes us to be stretching ourselves so that we could think for everybody else, so that we can do something for your DC. Yeah.
Awesome. It's amazing. You said purpose.
Absolutely.
So it's not a job anymore.
Nah, it's
And
not.
it's deeper. I mean, and when you're doing it, you're putting your all into it, your mind, body, and soul.
Right.
So that makes it.
Yeah.
That's my.
It does, man.
It kind of sounds like us a little bit,
Yes,
don't
it
it?
does.
Oh,
I ain't
yes.
piggybacking.
Yeah,
but-
take some of that stress from me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You mentioned about being birth, and
Being birth,
and
yeah.
when you give birth, that's a lot, you know,
Yeah.
for a woman, and
Sure is.
Yeah, yo.
and once this child is born, you just don't abandon it. You have to
Mhm.
nurture it,
Yes.
and that is something that's very deep. You know, you have to continuously put into so it can develop and grow.
Yes.
That's awesome. So let's go into the area where the community liaison, and how do you became interested in becoming a community liaison?
I think it was something that so the pastor at the time, matter of fact, shout out to I can think of his name. Yeah, Pastor Gabe at what is it, Create Church? Create Church.
Mm-hmm.
Great pastor. He was a Latino pastor from Arizona, moved to DC. He was planning a church in Columbia Heights area called Create. And so anyway, me being a man of God, he asked me. Well, we had a pretty extensive relationship prior to him actually asking me
Awesome.
to be a part, to be a community liaison for him. I think it was one of those things where he was able to just see some qualities in myself that I didn't even really know I had.
Awesome.
So it was like, hey, look, I knew that I'm great with people, you know what I'm saying, already,
Yes, sir.
but he was just like, hey, this is something that I think you'll do great at, why don't we just give you the community liaison, position? I said, all right, cool, so I went full-fledged force with it. I'm always thinking big, so we were able to throw some pretty big events. We had a movie night with them, where we had the local council member come in. We were able to get John to donate free water bottles.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was a great turnout. So it's like a lot of it is what we do now. So
Yes.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's kind of like how it led me to where I'm at now. Yeah.
Were there any like roadblocks in both aspects, either the community liaison and in your DC program? Anyone can start here.
Wait, roadblocks, or what do you mean?
Yeah, or any difficulties or things that you like, okay, you get to this point, like, okay, how do we get over this? Something, didn't come through in this end, we're planning in advance, or.
Yeah, I have a
Okay,
few
so-
too. No, you go ahead. Okay,
And that's part of the journey because people see you at the top,
Correct.
but how do you get
They
there?
don't really see much,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so important.
So, I mean, go ahead. You go. Go ahead.
Okay. I think there was not a lot of roadblocks, but I think like one of the biggest roadblocks, and this is something that we are constantly kind of learning, I think was us.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
I think when you have a vision for something, especially when you're working with another person, it's very easy to kind of be like, okay, your idea is great. It's kind of, you have like the Kanye mentality. It's like, all right, I hear you, but, right.
I'm yay.
Exactly. So I feel like that was a big part of it. And it was just kind of learning how to understand each other's perspectives and opinions in a way to help the company grow. And then I think personally as well, whenever you're doing anything, I think you put an additional amount of pressure on yourself that is just so unnecessary sometimes, and you start to just overthink things, and instead of just making it a little bit more simplistic. But to your point, it's like with a child, this is our first child, so it's just like, okay, well, do I do this? Do I do that? And I think we started to put like this imaginary pressure on ourselves. Obviously, pressure is good, but like unnecessary pressure.
Right.
And I think that was kind of the biggest roadblock from my perspective.
Yeah, no, she definitely hit on the head. I mean, I guess I would say it's definitely personal, in like excluding us, because I know a lot, when it comes to being an entrepreneur and you're running a business and you have to execute. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to push yourself. Like, we were just talking about this today, like on our way here actually, like how I talk to myself. I'm like, I bro, come on, let's go. You know, like keep going. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we all have our own. I'm not talking spiritual. You know, we all have our own generational curses,
Absolutely,
and things
absolutely.
that we are dealing with, and
Absolutely.
it's like when you're going into a new realm of life. You know, of course you got an adversary. You know, the adversity come in, and there's just so much that's
Yes.
compiled with you know, being great and just pursuing your dreams. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
those are like the only things that I can, you know, compliment on and speak about. That has definitely been like a bit of a struggle. Not a struggle, but it's definitely been a bit of like a roadblock, you know. But that's what really makes us free and just successful, because it's like the devil is a lie. I'm about to, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to go through this thing and we gonna win. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. That is actually to be expected. I think one thing I share with people, I think within the last year or so, when they ask me how am I doing, after I get past I'm doing good, then I share with them that life is not what happens to us in life, it's how we respond to it.
Oh yeah.
And it's to a point, I have quite a
I
few.
respond to things bad, but
But it's learning, we learn ourselves. We learn ourselves.
Yeah.
That's expected. I
Yeah.
share that with my nieces and nephews all the time. I say, I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. You're gonna go through some stuff
Yeah.
that's gonna question your beliefs, your faith, your purpose. But it's not what happens to. When it happens, don't get thrown. No, it might rock you a little bit, but know that it's gonna happen.
Right,
And it's
right.
how you respond to it and see how far you're gonna go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm with that. The both of you.
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
Because I feel like I went real kind of deep, but I'll give you like one physical thing that we went through, which was actually with World's Capital. We had
Oh my God.
so our first event before we actually created the actual business, we went through
That's a great example.
accountability issue
Oh.
with a partnership. Yeah, so that it was so bad, we actually ended up having to cancel the event. And
Wow.
yeah, it was that bad. So that was one big lesson learned on our behalf. Like I'll never forget that. We learned that lesson like big time.
And just to add on to that, it's one of those things where, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, at least I've realized like no one is gonna go as hard for our dreams as we
Mhm.
are.
Exactly.
And I think we were in a moment in time where we just had like these grand ideas and we're trying to do this and that and trying to get people on board, it was just not happening. So like we're
Mhm.
putting in all this work and we couldn't just, I feel like it just wasn't supposed to happen. But
Yeah.
I think looking back at it now, like it definitely prepared us for the
Oh,
emergency.
definitely. It
You know,
definitely did.
like all of the work and effort and ideas that we had, they're here. You
Yeah.
know, they're just in a different form.
And we could run that whole event back if we really wanted to. You know? So we learned our lesson. And we even talked about it. We're like, wow, this is such a huge lesson learned. You
Yes,
know, like
yes.
we just couldn't believe it, you know. So it is what it is, but I mean it wasn't a waste because we put in so much work that it was like even by that time, once we ended it, we already got so much experience from all the work that we put in.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like a win-win, you know?
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah. It's a nice
And, and people have to hear that, you know.
Of course.
You got to hear the struggle. You got to hear the fight. And I don't know where we get the idea from that you just. I'm quite sure. I guess from TV. You know, things look like it's microwave. We see the beginning, we see the end, but it's that in between time that makes us who we are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So what does one need to do in getting involved with helping their community and putting together an event for their community?
So honestly, I feel like it's starting with what you know. You know, like if you know a place that needs help, just ask.
Okay.
You know, I feel like it's something so
That's
simple.
good.
I feel like a lot of people feel like, oh, I have to do this or I have to know this person. No, it really starts with very small efforts. So figure out ways where you can get involved into your community and help. And from that, you'll end up meeting people who can show you so many different avenues and so many different areas of other places that need help. So I feel like it's just putting yourself out there. I feel like a lot of times, particularly like our generation, I just feel like, you know, there's not enough time to do this, I don't have time to volunteer, but it's like if you really want to do it,
Yes.
if you got time to go to Happy Hour, you got time to volunteer. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, just
Nah,
get out there.
I was just gonna add to what she said. It's just keeping it real with people, like, and I'm good at doing that. I'm like, come on, like, you know, this is the right thing to do. You know, like,
Yes, sir.
it's just about how you pitch it. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that people understand there's reality behind what we're doing. You know, and so that kind of gives people like the rude awakening to participate in whatever it is that we're working on. And there's so many people in DC, you know, just in general, like, it's just really going out further to really find the right people, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And so, like, we have to do our homework to, like, build our market. You know, you have so many people that say things like, oh, well, you know, DC, the other day, right, somebody told me, they're like, you know, the most profound or the most common DC question is, what do you do?
Mhm.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Some
saying?
people take offense to that.
They do.
Yeah.
Like, I was talking to just a woman. She didn't know I was engaged or anything like that, but it was just very casual.
Mhm.
Just I was like marketing an event, and I was like, "Hey, what do you do?" And she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so tired of hearing that," you know. And it was just like, you know, and that gave me a new perspective. Like, wow, like I really need to not approach people like that,
Mhm.
you know, or you know, that should be my first question. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway. So moving forward, what I really wanted to say before I said that, God, I hope I don't forget it. Save it, Courtney. Come on, go ahead.
Meeting people.
Oh yeah, so yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's
so-
save it.
Yeah, you did.
Teamwork, and it's a dream
Yeah, I'm
work,
telling
Yeah.
you, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, meeting people and to get, I guess I'm gonna go back to your question because I lost train of thought to that. Your question. I'm sorry.
So if you need to be helping one to get involved in their community, and what does one need to do?
Oh, okay. What if they need it? Oh, man, it's we you know, when we do community events, it's based off of like what we feel and what we see.
Okay.
Like how she answered, and then you know, we just reach out. We reach out to different boards, different entities. It could be a school.
Mhm.
You know, we're very. There's no limitations to anything that we.
That's
do.
true. That's true.
None. You know, so what they need to do is just reach out and let's work together. We're all about partnerships. So if you want to succeed, then you know it's a win-win for everybody. You know, one of the events that we had Essential Water come out, right, and they gave us like 200 bottles of water. You know, and the reason why is because we were able to pitch to them like, hey, look, this is going to be a very benefiting, you know, donation on your behalf. You are a large water bottle company, you know, corporate water bottle company, right? Very well known, and you know, if you're giving away, this is a good thing for your brand. You know what I'm saying? You're
Yes.
able to say, oh my God, I just gave back to these communities. You know what I'm saying? These little kids were out here holding, you know, these essential water bottles, and it's something that they're able to like, you know, publish on their platforms.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a win-win, and that's what we look for. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, and you want to win, then
Absolutely.
let's partner.
Absolutely. You have to stay connected to the community. You really do. Not just businesses, but also organizations, nonprofit, and religious organizations as well. Because I like the term community liaison. Because that's my thing. Because church is one thing, but my thing is being well, I guess it's just our drive, our community development. And I think that the house of God should also be connected to that as well.
That's correct.
Stop being religious.
Right.
You gotta preach.
Come on now.
Absolutely.
So we'd like to thank you for joining It Needs to Be Heard. I'm Mr. Robert Eugene Young.
And my name is Onika Terrell.
Now that you've heard it,
What will you do?
we also have lines you can call in to speak to your DC. The phone number is 240-455-5934. That's 240-455-5934. You can call in at any time. You also can email us at itneedstobeheard at itneeds with an S to be heard at gmail.com. I'm looking at your website right now, and that's yourdc.org. And also what I'm skimming at is business development. We help companies reach their full potential by pursuing innovative methods and to strengthen the organization. Can you kind of touch on that as well?
Okay. So for us, I feel like every entity is really a business. Even if you're a single person, you are a business because you have a brand that you represent.
Yes.
So for us, I think Alberto was alluding to this earlier, but like we're all about helping others get to their best version of themselves.
Absolutely. Yep.
So if you're a business, we really take that hands-on approach and really say, okay, what do you need? Obviously, all businesses want to make money, but what do you really need? So
Yes.
we look at pretty
Very
much
natural, too.
everything to
Mhm.
figure out how we can help you to get to that financial goal or whatever it is.
Mm,
And the other thing that we try to do as much as possible with business development is a lot of businesses unfortunately neglect their community. Their
yes.
biggest customer is the community.
Mhm.
So if you're not able to provide and utilize them in the most effective manner, then you're losing right there.
Yes.
So we look at those resources and the things in areas where they lack and figure out how we can help them gain in those areas.
Absolutely, she hit on the head, which actually I just said wow because that was actually like our initial pitch when we first started the business.
Okay.
And we knew that we had something very special because we felt like businesses aren't giving back to communities. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about black, I'm talking about everybody.
Everybody,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? So we're giving, this is why the win-win scenario pitch, whatever you want to say, works so well because as a business owner, you're on a hair salon. I'm like, I come in and I pitch to you. I say, hey, look, why don't we just do an event where let's say you're the hair salon like stylist owner, right, at the beauty shop. Okay, I'm like, look, what's your last name?
Terrell.
Terrell. Okay, Miss Terrell, right? Assistant Terrell, whatever, right? You've been here for about 5-10 years, right? Have you done any type of community engagement?
No.
Okay, so look, how about you be an entrepreneur? Okay, obviously you are an entrepreneur, right? You own your own business. How about we teach? How about we actually create like a panel discussion with the local high school in your area? You can speak to the young ladies about entrepreneurship, maybe to the seniors. Seniors are the kind of on the cusp of knowing exactly what they want to go to school for, things of that nature.
That's true.
So we could create a panel discussion. So
Awesome.
why would you not do that? Wouldn't that be very benefiting on your behalf as a business owner?
Absolutely.
So on our side, we would be able to document it with videography for you, photography, things of that nature, and we'd even do the social media marketing as well. So, so what we're doing, we're creating you something like a package where you're now able to say, wow, Terrell, right? Terrell, Terrell's Beauty Shop, we got, besides hair, now we have photos of Miss Terrell actually teaching a class about entrepreneurship. You see what I'm saying? That's a win-win for you. You see what I'm saying? And guess what? A person like herself, let's say she loves community stuff and she's not all about just the hair. She sees that, now you're bringing more customers in because they're like, wow, they do more than just doing hair. They do community engagement. So that's kind of how we pitch what we do. And once we saw that, it's just a no-brainer. It's a win-win.
This is why Alberto's great, 'cause he just pitched that idea.
I'm so
We all have our purpose. That was sort of how just quickly
Y'all
came
paid?
up. And it will make room for you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's sort of how we came about as well. Because I had thought about doing a podcast with some young men in my neighborhood, well older than me too. But when it came really down to it, I said, you know what, I need to do it with a young lady because women, they have their own perspective. We have our own perspective. We made it even greater. She's from Guyana. She's from South America. I'm from North America, I guess. But just that by itself, what she can do, what I can do, we have our own gifts, and that's and especially as the sexes or the battle of the sexes. It's not to be a battle. It's to be a collaboration.
Okay.
So what we can do and cannot do should not separate us. It should what? Bring us together. And that's how we not just respect and honor one another, but that's how we move forward.
Right, absolutely.
That's how we move forward. Most
I'm
definitely.
sure you guys can help each other out. I mean,
Oh yeah.
women, I've learned so much about women.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Hey,
That
man.
sounds like a,
But-
that will.
No, it's a good way.
It's a good way.
Like, I mean, yes. I mean, me being a very
About to get you in
strong.
trouble.
Yeah, we're not gonna. We stay focused on whatever questions you guys have.
So having said that, one of the other thing that comes to mind is that DC is a melting pot. It's not.
Okay.
It really isn't Chocolate City any longer.
No, it's not.
and
It's not.
and so that's something that you work with too, because the diversity,
Yeah.
the different languages from all over the world. So how do you look at approaching that as well?
I think one of the biggest things is kind of understanding that DC is a melting pot.
Yes.
And it's
Mhm.
about embracing all of those various cultures, ages, religions, and making something great. I think particularly when it came to the community engagement piece, so actually thinking about the event that we were supposed to do, it was about how do we show the various cultures from one area? Because DC is just so robust. How do we
Yes.
show people all of DC.
That's a comp sci, that's a computer science major term. Mm-hmm.
So I think for us, it was really about just embracing that, because I feel like a lot of places, they kind of just, they have this group of people that go there, but it's like, how do we get everybody together to show the amazingness that everybody brings? So.
Yes, and that we are amazing.
Exactly.
Even though we're different, we are.
Exactly.
You're DC.
Yeah,
You heard it here.
It's your DC.
heard
Your
it.
business.
Yes, absolutely.
So how would one contact you, the business, to get their business out there or event done?
I mean, you guys can follow us at Your DC while you are DC on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Yes. You can also go to our website at yourdc.org. You can email us at info@yourdc.org. And then you can even personally email us at Alberto Soto, ALBERTOSOTO @yourdc.org. And yours is Courtney, right? Yeah, it's Courtney. Courtney, COURTNEY @yourdc.org as well.
Ooh, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we come to a portion in our program that celebrates our diversity
Yes.
as it needs to be heard here. As Robert mentioned, that I am from Guyana, South America, and so we have a portion where we have this thing called Proverbs. And so
Okay.
every show that we've had thus far,
Yes.
It's my favorite book in the word.
it is, but it's more so like words of wisdom or sage words, but it's more so done in our culture, in our Guyanese Creolese, which is another form of, well, it's a broken form of English.
Oh,
We do speak English in Guyana, but we break it down and we call it, like Jamaicans call patois or Asian Creole, or we have Guyanese Creolese. Okay, and so I will say a phrase, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and translate it
Mm-hmm.
for the non-Creolese.
She's so excited right now.
Then give you the definition of what that saying is. It's almost like I don't know if you've heard of a Nancy story or wives' tales, that type of thing. So you ready?
Ready.
Awesome. Okay, great. It says, "Now one time I make fire, make peace boil." I'm gonna repeat it.
Yeah, please.
Now one time a fire make peace boil. Not just one time or just one moment does the fire make the peas boil. So you have peas in the water and the stove
Right.
as well.
It doesn't
You just have it automatically.
Right,
So
right.
some things take a long time to be completed.
Right,
Okay. What you guys are doing is something that is not going to happen overnight, but it's something that's going to take some time. By the time it's done, everyone will see that the word is seen is doing something great, and people will join in on it and enjoy it. Just how people take the time to enjoy this piece and wait for this piece to boil,
Absolutely.
you can enjoy the piece and enjoy the
Amen to
recipe.
that. Thank you. Yeah.
So that is, I know one time fire make peace.
I'll take my time when we do it.
I'm telling you. But it's fascinating because that's what your DC is right now.
Correct.
Thank you so
Diversity.
much, man.
It is. It's really diversity because the events you go to, even with my Zumba class, it's so many people, different backgrounds and diversities. And that's what I'm so glad that you're on here with us. And we really want to. And moving forward, any events that you have, let us know. We most definitely would put it on the air. I didn't mention it earlier, but eLife Media Group, as I always say every week, it has promotions to start your own show here, and usually it goes about 13 weeks. So as long as we're here, you are here because it's your DC. Absolutely.
Yeah, every other week. I don't. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Call me now.
I know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but don't put my pen on, you know. Make me look like $1 million.
Yeah. I can make a quick announcement.
Yeah, absolutely.
So definitely, email us or DM us on our Instagram page, and you guys, we'll definitely ship you guys out your DC phone.
And that's
Absolutely.
it again. What is it again?
So the Instagram page is your DC. While you are DC is probably the first one. And it'll be your DC, LOC with the actual District Columbia map included. That right there.
There you go.
Cannot miss it. It's the nicest one on there.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Have you other social media sites that they can contact you on?
Yeah,
Or is it-
that's our Instagram. Facebook is your DC as well. Our LinkedIn page is your DC. Our email is info@yourdc.org. And then my personal is Alberto Soto, ALBRTOSOTO at yourdc.org. Courtney's is COURTNEY at yourdc.org. We also have our own personal Instagram pages. Courtney's is the Courtney Simone. Mine is I am Alberto Soto, just exactly how it's spelled out. And that's pretty much it, how you guys can keep in touch with us. And we do have some upcoming events if you guys,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's any question.
Sure. No more questions, upcoming events?
You want to show?
Oh, so our upcoming events on March 16th, we're actually doing a 90s versus 2000s
Yeah,
party.
baby.
So we're giving away stuff for the best dress.
Yeah, you guys,
So
best dress.
this is serious. Alberta was not gonna dress up at first, but
She want me to
this
dress
is
up
a
like
thing,
El Cool J.
obviously. This is a thing, so please bring your best dress outfit.
Yes.
Definitely gonna be a good time. We also have an event on March 22nd at 1942, which is our networking event.
We have the second annual one.
Yes.
Okay.
So essentially, if you're looking to meet like-minded people,
Yes.
exchange information, and just learn more about what people are doing in the district or in the DMV in general, make sure you come out. And
We have April 11th.
April 11th, we have a speed dating event.
Singles come out.
So yeah, you might meet your significant other, and that's gonna be at Ziba Bar.
Ziba Bar up on Columbia Heights. You didn't share, and so our March 16th event coming up is at Late Lounge. So if you go to our Instagram page at yourdc.org, you'll see all the ads, promotions that we've been shooting, so you can find the address there for that event. $10 to get into.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking back at both of your bios. I want you to elaborate on something that I saw. I see that you, Courtney, is the CEO and founder of Adventure in Black. Can you
Correct.
expound on what that is?
So I have just been blessed to have the opportunity to travel to various locations just from my job as a consultant. And actually last year, 2018, we have a family reunion. And the vote was that we're gonna do the family reunion in DC. Now, for Black folks, that means you planted a family reunion because you live in DC.
Yes.
So with that being said, we actually have one of the largest turnouts in a while. We had 73 people show up. And just having that connection with my family, a lot of them drove from down south to DC.
Wow.
Many of them, didn't have passports, and just having some of those conversations with them, it was like, how do I share my experience and love for travel with not just like my family, but just the Black family in general. So that's really how Adventure in Black started. And the name itself for me, being that I have been blessed to be in a lot of different doors and areas, a lot of time I am the only person in the room of color, particularly person of color and woman in the room. And for me, I feel like a lot of times we carry Blackness everywhere that we go.
Yes.
And I wanted for people to understand that Blackness is everywhere. And you should be proud of that Blackness. So part of Adventure in Black is carrying that Blackness with us and also showing us the beauty everywhere across the world.
Yes.
So we do group travel. Our website actually launches in a few weeks. So definitely follow Adventure, ADVENTURENIN, Black, BLACK, on Instagram, because we have a lot of really great stuff coming down the pipeline. And we really just want to have a good experience, educating people, and going around the world together and seeing how beautiful we are and how diverse we are all over the world.
Yes, it's Black people.
Yes.
So tell us about our Only Kings.
Oh man, Only Kings is something that I've created. I've actually have had it for about 4 years. So when I gave my life to God when I was about 18 years old, I just had a new perspective on life. Came from a pretty rough background, so I did a thing where they call it the renewance of your mind, And so when I had my renewance of my mind, growing up as a man, I was able to just through my experiences, God gave me an opportunity to be a word or be about for those that have experienced what I've experienced, in life. And so with that. Only Kings is basically a platform, or it is a platform that allows minority young men to develop. For me, as not only a minority man, but also a man that has experienced what African American men are to be looked at, and coming from that background in life, it challenged me to work harder because of the desires that I have in my heart, and due to that, I know that I have to work and work on several things, which what I educate is the spiritual, the physical, and the mental, and the financial. So those are my aspects of life that I live by. So by that, that's what I educate. And so it's been very benefiting for several young men. I've mentored men that are like 35 to 21. It's okay. 21. And so it's been very beneficial. I've had several guys give their life to Christ through the program, and nothing that's ever been solidified, nothing that I even like got patent or anything like that. It was really just bringing young men together at a coffee shop, and we just discuss great topics, and it's just having that push, challenging. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do this. You know what I'm saying? Like. You have an issue with reading, go read it again.
Yes.
You want to lose weight, go out there and make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to push ourselves, and it's not just as men, but as Black people. Period. You know what I'm saying? We can't be playing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's just how I look at it. And so I feel like God has allowed so much to go. He's allowed so much what I've experienced. To get to the point that I'm at now, so that I can be that push in other people's lives as well. And that can be very much aggressive and not too nice and certain things like that. But it's what's needed sometimes, because people need to wake up. Everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to pull the winner out of everybody. And so that's pretty much Only Kings. I will give a quick tip. We are working on a men's incubator, so I will be facilitating the actual program within the actual building.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this is It Needs to Be Heard, and I'm Mr. Robert Eugene Young.
And my name is Miss Onika Terrell.
Now that you've heard it,
What will you do?
your DC, we thank you for being our guest today. And once again, the title of this show is called Community Involvement. Be the change you want to see. And even outside of your DC, you're still doing your our Kings, your Kings. Only Kings and Adventure
In Black.
in Black.
We're not playing.
Still doing it.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. So we thank you for joining us today, and have a good night. Love it, man.
What?
Most definitely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
Thank you
absolutely.
for having us. Thank you so much, man. This is fantastic.
Thank you
What
so
kind of band
much.
do you go to?
Oh gosh, where was this?
I like the sound of this.
And the thing that you mentioned about
No,
traveling
no,
as
that's
Black people. Let me tell you, I was born in Guyana, but I was raised in New York City for most of my life. There are a lot of people that don't even from.
And take a picture. Hey, how you doing, man?
Just one, block train. Block.
Hey, no doubt, no doubt.
It's so crazy because it's like there's so much in the world for us to see.
Absolutely.